The following announcement has been paid for by
the ENN Podcast.
He has a good energy, you guys.
Can you feel
Sport.
excitement? And also,
the merchandise, wearing the hats.
Is what I'm seeing for real?
Wild here live from Lincoln Financial.
yeah, I can't wait till this video's over so I can say his name anymore.
Music.
Wow.
Man, again, and I hate to do this again, but these are goofy.
What the hell? What is that?
Whoa! What the hell?
And more.
What's his next book going to be called? I see that coming.
Welcome back, everybody, to another live stream here at the ENN Podcast. I'm, of course, professional wrestler Chris Wild. It is almost 11 p.m., so I can say this without feeling bad. Let's fucking talk. Kind of an impromptu, unscheduled live stream, like most of my live streams are. I should probably start like scheduling these things. But I'm sure, as most people with a couple jobs and a couple kids can relate to, it is tough to schedule sometimes. First off, how about this absolutely ridiculously awesome shirt? You know what? WrestleMania 10, the bad guy Razor Ramon, the Heartbreak Kid Shawn Michaels, undisputed Intercontinental Championship on the line. One of the best matches ever. And as you guys saw in the beginning, little tribute to the bad guy himself, Scott Hall, aka Razor Ramon, as he passed away earlier this week. I talked about it during videos. And you know, the wrestling business, I'll be honest with you, it's not rare for somebody to pass away in the wrestling business. For me, however, and the age that I am, it's almost rare when, I don't know, a guy like Scott that I grew up watching, who I looked at as, I mean, this dude, I don't know if there was like many cooler guys out there to me. You watch this guy and man, like, just the fact that like he's not here anymore, it sucks. It's hard to find words to find, and you know, it's you can say the cliche stuff, you know, he's in a better place right now. Prayers to his family, condolences. Why that all may be true. You want to be genuine, and that's exactly what I'm going to be. I mean, again, to me, you know, growing up, there wasn't a lot of real male role models in my life. You know, my father was always working, as well as my stepfather was. And there's these guys that I watched on TV that were my male role models, these larger than life athletes, superstar human beings that were like superheroes off comic books, that you kind of look to. And Scott Hall, when he got into the WWF as Razor Ramon, because I didn't really watch a lot of WCW. And for those of you that are tuning in for the Eagles stuff and the NFL stuff, I promise you we'll get to that too. But I really want to talk about Scott real fast. Again, as he passed away earlier this week. But I didn't watch WCW. WCW to me, as now, and once I started wrestling, was something that I was really interested in watching, because the work rate was so good. It was so much better, I think, than WWF, because the WWF went off characters, as we all know. Especially back then, it was a lot of cartoony stuff. But to me, guys like Shawn Michaels, guys like Bret the Hitman Hart, and guys like Razor Ramon, and yes, Razor Ramon was a character. Like, that was based off of Al Pacino's Scarface character. Let's see what we got here. A couple guys here. I'm a Niner, but shout out to Scott Hall. Nothing is forgotten by Diamond Stud. Awesome stuff. Thank you very much. And good luck with the Niners this year too, man. I think they're gonna I think they're going to have a really good team, even if Jimmy G is still the quarterback. I think it'll be Trey Lance, but yeah, I really wanted the Niners to beat the Rams earlier. But back to Scott, and then we've got my man Philly the podcast, Razor Mo's the GOAT. Yes, but talked about Razor based off a character, based off of Scarface. It still wasn't a cartoony character. Like, this dude was cool as shit. Jumped off the bat feuding with Macho Man Randy Savage. Dude was giant. He just looked cool. He talked cool. And as the character evolved, so did Scott Hall. And again, just like one of the coolest dudes. I remember watching him. He did an episode of the Jerry Springer Show where he actually gave a kid, I think it was a Make-A-Wish kid, the actual Intercontinental Championship, right? Guys on Facebook, I'm going to follow your comments as well here. So wins, gives them the actual Intercontinental Championship. They had to get another one made for Razor during house shows. He had to use the replica one, but that's just the kind of dude he was. And he was just so cool. Now, again, not only was he a great character, but we're talking about a guy that changed the wrestling business, that it kind of helped change the wrestling business when he got a guaranteed contract with WCW. And contracts weren't guaranteed back then. They just weren't. I mean, guys kind of made, and maybe I'm wrong here, but they kind of made like, obviously they had a salary, and then they, you talk about T-shirts and stuff like this. They all made a percentage off of that, and the gates of houses or pay-per-views, how well the pay-per-views did. They made money that way. Scott Hall said, I want guaranteed money, and he got it from WCW and Eric Bischoff, and Kevin Nash then joined him. They, of course, created the famous NWO, which, I mean, still one of the best-selling T-shirts to this day. And then they were the NWO was another level cool, man. Like, the NWO for me, I think I was middle school, maybe about to go into high school. I mean, like, I walked around wanting to be these guys. I remember I'd walk into class or anywhere where there's a doorway. And when I walked in the doorway, I do one of these gimmicks here. I do one of these things. I still do too, by the way. And dude, it was just Damien, man, like, yeah, you gotta, man, it hit me hard, the Scott Hall thing. And I have an interesting personal Scott Hall story that I want to tell. First off, before I tell the story, and to me, it's something I'll never forget. What the chance I actually had a chance to meet the man Scott Hall. But I want to talk about my favorite Scott Hall match. And I actually watched this the other day, and it wasn't as good as the WrestleMania match with Shawn Michaels was. It wasn't that. What it was for me was SummerSlam 94, Razor Ramon versus Big Daddy Cool Diesel. Both these guys pretty much in their prime. Accompanying Scott Hall to the ring, none other than Sweetness Walter Payton. Walter Payton and Shawn. First off, look at Walter Payton's arms. You talk about an absolute stud. Look at this dude, man. Like, he was absolutely jacked. I remember, I think his son was there too. Walter Payton's was. But look at this. Look at Razor's friggin' legs. Oh my God. But yeah, I thought it was a great match. I love the gear that Razor had that night. He won the Intercontinental Championship from Diesel. And it's special when you got three friends like that, because they were tight. Shawn, Diesel, and Razor getting to work together. You see and one of the things I loved how Razor always had one elbow pad that was like plain, and the other was like of the gear he had. Little things like that just made this dude special. But here for my personal Scott Hall story, I was working for a man named Cody Covey in West Virginia. First off, take a sip for this is water for Scott Hall. I was working in West Virginia for Cody Covey, and Cody always had these really big events. He ran every month in West Virginia. And then he had one really big event. It was like his WrestleMania, and it was at their high school. And they absolutely would sell out the high school every time. And he'd always have one big star come. One year, I think it was Jim Cornette. Tatanka was like a mainstay there. And then one year he had Scott Hall, and he booked Scott's son Cody on the show as well. Now, I don't get starstruck, man. Like, with wrestlers, I don't get starstruck, because it's like, to me, it would be like, a football player getting starstruck. I mean, I guess maybe they do when they play against Tom Brady. I don't know. But it just, to me, it's like we're coworkers. You know what I mean? Like, it's not, I've never in my life, and I never will. I'm not saying that's a bad thing or whatever, but I've never in my life went to one of these guys and asked for an autograph. And very rarely will I ask for a picture unless it's of somebody that is an absolute legend. Now, anyway, going to Scott. Scott's there. He's in the building. Scott is a very intimidating man. And I'm not saying this by his actions. I'm saying this by his just the way he looks, just how big he is, even today, even then. Obviously, he wasn't the specimen that he was back in 1994, 96, but the guy has always been a really just like an intimidating personality. So he's there. I'm working a guy named Shane Andrews, really talented guy. And then I was doing another match later in the card. But the setup for the match was me and Shane the winner of me and Shane. So we were the dark match. Me and Shane, the winner of that got onto the main show's ladder match. So we were first. I see Scott and I'm like, you know what? And I'm just looking at this dude and I'm like, I'm not gonna, I've got a chance here. Why not? I go up to Scott and I say, excuse me, sir. And of course, what's up, kid? And I'm like, I hate to bother you, and I know you must get this a lot. But is there any way you can watch my match tonight? And he said, well, first of all, and I don't know why I'm trying to talk like him. I probably have a horrible Scott Hall impression. He's like, first of all, you're not bothering me, and I'm surprised nobody else is. Like, I've been some places, and I'm like, I start smiling, and he's like, in second, what are you on? And I'm like, well, we're kind of the dark. And he looks at me and Shane, and we both have awesome gear on, and we're both, we both got some bodies and tan and everything. And he looks at us, and he's like, you guys are the dark. And I'm like, yeah, but it's part of the story. So so I have this conversation with Scott. I'm not really expecting him to watch. I'm expecting the old, oh yeah, it was good. Like, you know what I mean? Like how you get to the back and some people didn't watch your match, and guys that wrestled know what I mean. You get to the back, and guys are like, yeah, man, it was great. That was awesome. Did you watch it? Well, no, but I heard it. Okay. So I'm kind of expecting that from Scott. Me and Shane have a really good match. I get to the back, and I'm not going to ask him. I'm not. If he comes to me, that's one thing. I'm not going to ask him because, again, I don't want to bother the guy. But anyway, get to the back. I barely get past Gorilla, and Scott comes up to me. Hey, come here. And man, this dude, and I'm not going to go into the very specifics because it's private. But because he said some really hilarious things. But this guy went through every part of my match with me. What he loved, what he liked, and maybe something I shouldn't do, and really, again, I'll just never forget it, and really, really humbled me. And then everybody was getting a picture with Scott, as you should. Again, a legend in this business. I'm sitting there, and someone just got a picture with him, and he looked at me, and he's like, "Hey, kid, you want a picture?" And I'm like, He's like, "Come on," and I'm like, "Okay." So he puts his arms around my throat, and the guy and I wish I would have posted the picture up here. It is on my Facebook page. If you guys follow me, I'll put it in the community section of the YouTube page. But I'm just looking at the camera like what the fuck? And he looks down at me and he goes, man, he said, that's a test I do with some of the workers to tell if they're cool or not, or if they're marks. He's like, if a lot of them will sell it. And he's like, and I'm like, okay, whatever. He's like, you didn't sell it. That's awesome. So he's like, let's do a real picture now. And then we took a real picture, but he was just awesome, just an awesome. Like they say, don't meet your heroes because they'll disappoint you. This was the exception. Man, I hate when this shows like this, but this was an exception to that he was absolutely awesome, and he's definitely going to be missed. Also, just another guy that we talk a lot about it here on mental health and people that suffer from substance abuse. Scott it's no secret that Scott was like, he was hurting for a while. He was struggling for a while, and he got help. I mean, everyone knows the DDP thing, got help, and really just, turned his life around. Unfortunately, when you go in the hospital for hip surgery, you can't control your blood clotting, and that's what happened. And he had I think it was, they said 3 heart attacks, and then even to the last minute. And DDP, I wish I would have copied the tweet, but DDP said something, and it was sad, but at the same time, it really made me laugh. He says, because Scott was on life support, they brought the family in. Scott's on life support. They take him off life support, and he doesn't die for another 6 hours. He doesn't pass away for another 6 hours. People thought maybe he was gonna make it out of that, and DDP said, Scott wouldn't even put death over clean, something to that point, like, because he put death over, but he wouldn't put him over clean, because when they took him off life support, he didn't go for another 6 hours. So I just thought that was great. Everybody watching on Facebook, I appreciate it. Thank you, everyone on YouTube. Thank you as well. We're talking Scott Hall here. We're just talking shit right now. I do a lot of Philadelphia Eagles stuff, so we'll be talking some Eagles news, some NFL free agency, and then I'm going to get my ass to bed, because it has been an absolutely long weekend. You want to know what kind of weekend it was for me? You want to know what kind of weekend it was for the Heart Killer, Chris Wilde? A lot of people know, and some of the people that are watching right now know that I work in a correctional institution. I work in the biggest prison in my state. I go in at midnight. I get off at 8 in the morning. And by 8 o'clock the following night, you want to know what I'm doing? That's me. Crimson Mask. Big time street fight in Westville, New Jersey. South Philly street fight with the great Breaker Morant. And I don't bleed often, but he got me courtesy of a baseball bat, a barbed wire baseball bat. And yeah, it was not a fun night to put that. I mean, look, it was fun, but afterwards, when my body started hating me, it wasn't. But man, I look at that picture there, and wow, just crazy stuff. But that was my night last night. Man, let's talk some NFL, guys. Let's talk. It has been an insane offseason for the NFL. As everybody knows, one of the biggest stories has been DESHAUN Watson. Where is he going to play? Is he going to even Is he going to even play? Was the thing. Now, a season and a half ago, he gets into it with the Houston Texans. I'm going to take a drink for this for the DESHAUN, and again, this is water, guys. I'm going to take a drink of water for this DESHAUN Watson saga finally ending. And it ends with him as a Cleveland Brown. Now, him and the Houston Texans, they have a breakup, and then right after the breakup, he gets accused. I think it was in the 20s, counts of sexual assault. Again, I'm no judge. I know true, not true. I don't know. Friday, not this Friday, but the Friday before, he had some kind of trial. I think a lot of the girls pulled out of the case. No criminal charges are being filed, so he's not going to go to jail. Everything else will be civil. Now, he'll definitely get suspended by the NFL. I don't know for how long. I'm thinking maybe 6 games. I mean, the NFL could really just say, we're going to suspend you for the whole year. Either way, a lot of teams were in the mix with DESHAUN Watson. The Philadelphia Eagles were named as some, and that DESHAUN didn't want to come to Philly. That was the thing. That the Eagles had inquired, and DESHAUN Watson, because he had a trade clause, he would not waive his no trade clause to come to Philadelphia. Now, the crazy thing to me is the teams that he wanted to go to and that he met with were Carolina, New Orleans, Atlanta, and the Cleveland Browns, obviously. Now, look, their Eagles roster is nothing to brag about, and that's something I'm going to complain about here shortly. I understand that. However, what I don't understand, Carolina hasn't won anything ever. Cleveland is Cleveland, right? I mean, they're just one of these teams that you just feel like, I mean, it's the Browns. I mean, the Browns are going to maybe be the Browns. I don't know. Atlanta sucks. He's got nobody to throw the ball to over there. I mean, and the Saints are without Sean Payton this year. I just don't understand it, but whatever. whatever. I mean, there was still some talk about the Eagles maybe still being in it to the end. He tells Cleveland, no, thank you. It looks like he's going to sign with Atlanta, which apparently is where he comes from. And he ends up turning the back on them and goes to the Cleveland Browns. So he's now a Cleveland Brown. My big issue is that we're not talking about, and again, I'm not a judge, okay? I'm no judge. And again, people have been falsely accused in the past. I understand that. But it's almost like that has taken a back seat. And I guess since he's not getting criminally charged, it can. But I mean, there's still some really big issues here with Deshaun Watson. And it's not being talked about. And the fact that this guy had his choice, and it was all him. It was all predicated on him. Is insane to me. He's getting paid, of course, hundreds of millions of dollars to do this, and that's that. Now, as far as other free agent news, man, how should I get into this? How should I don't know what I want to yell about first, and I'm not going to yell because it is late. Devontae Adams goes from the Green Bay Packers to the not the LA Raiders, no. The Las Vegas Raiders, to the Las Vegas Raiders for a first and a second round pick. Are you kidding me? That's all it took to get Devontae Adams. Now the Philadelphia Eagles have three first round picks in this coming draft. Why in the hell did you not offer that? Now, obviously, Devontae Adams is the highest paid wide receiver of all time now. But this salary cap ain't real. It's not. It's not real. It's just not. There's ways around it. And again, Derek Carr was Derek Carr. For those of you that don't know, is the LA. Am I going to keep saying LA? The Vegas Raiders quarterback. They went to college together and kind of made each other. A big hello to Chris Wishman. Who else we got watching over here on Facebook before I go on? Jeff Klein, how are you doing, sir? Chelsea, how are you? Pat, what's up? Shelby, Tracy, and my man Joe, all watching. Joe, you would have loved that match last night, man, that I had with Breaker Morant. But Devontae Adams goes over to LA or to Vegas for basically nothing. And Vegas is stacking up, man. Like all these teams I'm watching are stacking up full of talent. But my team, the hometown team that I love, that I cover, they're not doing anything. They're asleep at the friggin' wheel. Now, yes, they signed Hassan Reddick. Basically, when the tampering started, they signed Hassan Reddick. And I'll tell you what, I'm absolutely tired, sick and tired of they've been shoving Hassan Reddick down our throats. I'm seeing him meeting with just about every player on the team. I'm seeing guys talking about him. I'm seeing college teammates talking about him. I understand this guy is a beast. He will make your defensive line so much better. 23 and a half sacks in 2 years. So I get it. He's a big deal. But they haven't done anything else, and it kind of pisses me off. Now, I did a live stream when Fletcher Cox got released. That pissed me off. And again, Fletcher Cox has not been Fletcher Cox for probably 2 or 3 seasons. He does not warrant the money that he was getting, and they re-signed him for a year. So I'll back up on that. But just you're seeing all sorts of wide receivers. Robert Woods just got traded to the Titans, I believe, for a 6th-round pick. The Rams, the team that just won the Super Bowl, do you think they sat back and said, we won a Super Bowl, we're good? No, they just signed Allen Robinson, who, by the way, went to school at Penn State and would have fit perfectly next to Devontae Smith. It's just nuts to me that the Eagles, and again, I guess they've tried. I guess some of these wide receivers have wanted to come here, they've wanted to come here, and they've wanted to sign the wide receivers, and the wide receivers didn't want to come here. That's what I meant to say. The safety that got signed to Baltimore, same thing. The Eagles tried to get him. Maybe they lowballed him. I don't know. Now, Howie Roseman has moved around some salaries. He moved around some of Darius Slay's money earlier. Are they planning on something big? I don't know. But it's been a mess of an offseason for the Philadelphia Eagles. I'll be honest with you. With the quarterback situation, is it going to be Jalen Hurts? Is it not? Is it going to be Russell Wilson? Is it going to be Deshaun Watson? Is it going to be Aaron Rodgers? Well, Aaron Rodgers goes back to Green Bay. Russell Wilson gets traded to Denver. And I believe Russell Wilson made a kind of an ass of himself in that press conference, talking about I really wanted to come to a winner. Well, Denver won 6 games last year, buddy. Yeah, and again, I understand their quarterback was Teddy Bridgewater, but I mean, I remember the Eagles destroying their defense too. And this is the Eagles I'm talking about. But it's just teams that want to win right now, and this is a right now league, man. It's not the league where you build through the draft anymore. Now, again, the draft is important. We saw the Cincinnati Bengals prove that, but Howie Roseman does not. The guy just does, and he had a great year last year picking guys like Devontae Smith, and getting gems like Jordan Mailata a couple years before. But he's not a great drafter. He's just not. So I can't, and you can't depend on getting all these great stud players out of one draft. It's just not going to happen. This is a win now league. I talk about the Las Vegas Raiders. I'm looking at what they've done this offseason. Not only did they get Devontae Adams, you get Chandler Jones in there as well. Cornerback Rock Ya-Sin, who probably has the best name in all of football. They bring him in there. They're doing work. The Chargers, God, the Chargers realize we're close. We got the quarterback. We've got some pieces here. What do the Chargers do? The Chargers re-signed Mike Williams, just another wide receiver I would have loved to see the Eagles get. They trade for Khalil Mack. I mean, it's J.C. Jackson from the Patriots goes there. I mean, it's winning moves. This is moves that winning teams do. Now, teams that aren't winning teams like the Dallas Cowboys, who trade Amari Cooper to the Browns. Now Amari Cooper's got the show. We were laughing at Amari Cooper a couple weeks ago, right? Like, you got shipped to the Browns. They shipped you to the Browns, man. This is a team that Jarvis Landry and Odell Beckham didn't even want to play for. Well, by the way, Jarvis Landry's probably going to get re-signed by the Browns, and now he's got Deshaun Watson eventually going to be throwing the ball to him. But like the Cowboys haven't done much of anything. They trade away Amari Cooper, and the Giants don't do. I'm looking; they've done nothing. And then let's talk about the Eagles. We talked about our guy Hassan Reddick coming in. And what else have they done? Well, they have done some other things. I can't say they haven't done anything. How about, like I said, re-signing Fletcher Cox? And, my boy Boston Scott comes back. Friend of the show. Did a short video open for the show. He comes back to the Eagles nest for another year. And then, look, we're going to look at Anthony Harris. Not a bad safety. I mean, it took him a while to get used to the defense. Towards the end of the year, he started playing better football. But at the end of the day, you cannot plan on running or having this team with the same players that from last year. Boston Scott, again, great, nice guy, has had a bunch of great, awesome moments in Philadelphia. But I want to get better. Let's get better. Let's not stand pat. And let's ask ourselves too, and I'm going to do a separate video about this. Why don't wide receivers want to come to Philly? Is it because of Jalen? I'm a Jalen guy, first off. I like the kid. I think that he's going to improve. But it's something. There's something there when you look at these wide receivers not wanting to come to Philadelphia. And then you look at the quarterback. Staying with the NFC East, you look at please, somebody out there. I need to know, and I'm looking in the chats here. And again, it's late. I get it. What's up, Paul? Paul Colley, enjoying that retirement down there in Florida. I wish. I can't wait. But somebody tell me, does anybody have an issue with, like, I cannot say Commanders. Like, is anyone having the same problem I'm having right now? I can't say it. It doesn't sound right. It doesn't. The Washington Commanders, it's ridiculous. It is absolutely ridiculous. I mean, it's like saying vanilla ice cream with hot shit topping on it instead of hot fudge topping, right? Because it just doesn't sound right. I can't do it. Every time I got to talk about this team because they're in the East, I've got to say Commanders. It's just the Washington Commies. Like, it's not even funny to me. And again, they're a rival in the NFC East. I'd like nothing better than to make fun of them. But it's not even funny. Like, I feel bad. I got friends that are Washington fans. It's horrible. Maybe you think, okay, we lost the Redskin name. What could be worse? Washington Commanders. There you go. It's just, I don't know. Anyway, we've seen what the Washington Commanders have done, guys. Our boy, Carson Wentz is QB1, putting number 11 back on. Again, guys, this was kind of impromptu. I would have had this picture up, and I'm going to he was wearing, he looked like Ronald McDonald, yellow suit jacket. I respect a nice suit, okay? But yellow suit jacket, maroon maroon shirt. He looked absolutely ridiculous during his introductory press conference. Trying too hard. That's Carson Wentz's problem now. He just tries too hard. I mean, look, the Eagles absolutely fleeced the Indianapolis Colts for a first and a third for Carson. I was a huge Carson guy. Everybody knows this. You can go back. I haven't deleted the videos. I thought there was going to be a Carson Wentz redemption tour when he's with the Eagles. But comes to find out, he tears his ACL, breaks his back, gets a concussion, and that's a lot. That is a lot on an athlete, and he just hasn't been right since then. And he hasn't been, and he's probably never going to be right. And he's definitely never going to be right with the Washington Commanders. Let's be honest here. I mean, you're going to a team you're going to play in a shitty stadium. You're going to play against Philly twice a year. You know that's going to get into his head. I'm sure they'll probably win at least one of those because that's just how the Eagles roll. But I mean, you got Terry McLaurin to throw the ball to. I understand that your defense is going to be is pretty good, but it's the Commanders. It's just you were at Indianapolis. You're with the Colts, who had a good offense, a great defense, and they couldn't beat the Jacksonville Jaguars to get into the playoffs. And there was an extra playoff spot there. Speaking of the Commanders, other things that the Commanders have done. I mean, I'm looking at it now. J.D. McKissick. He kind of, first off, I'm going to take a drink of water, guys, for the Washington football team, now Commanders. I don't know if I'll ever be able to say that name. Okay. J.D. McKissick, I believe he told Buffalo that he was going to sign with them. It was a handshake type deal, gave him his word, and then he goes back on it. The Redskins kind of pushed the issue. And he is now with them. Again, of all these teams, and this is another thing that kills me, why the Eagles aren't doing anything. You got the Giants who are going to stink. You've got Dallas who isn't going to be as good as they were last year. It's Dallas. And then you got the Commanders. Like, I would be stocking up, man. You got the money to do it. I would be stocking up on free agents. I mean, it's crazy to me. It's really nuts. And again, if you're going to be stuck with, and I say stuck with, and it's disrespectful to him, and I'm sorry, but if you're going to have Jalen Hurts, and you want to find out what Jalen Hurts is, why not put the best pieces around Jalen Hurts, guys? Wouldn't that make sense? Because then if he fails, then it's definitely him. It's definitely him. No questions asked. It's him or it's the coach. And I look at it as, in those kind of situations, if you got stud wide receivers and a pretty good running game, it's kind of hard to mess that up as a coach. I'm sure it's been done before. But I hate to. Another big thing, one of the big good things that the Eagles did, I will say this, Jason Kelce coming back for another year. Jason Kelce, all time. I mean, this is a guy, great human being. I would run through a wall for Jason Kelce. I'm glad to see him back. It gives me some hope. And I thought, hey, if this guy's coming back, he must know something we don't. The Eagles must be getting ready to make a big move. And I'm still waiting. I said to the viewers at the live stream from the gym when Hassan Reddick was announced. And I'm like, man, here we go. Bevy moves. Hey, I'm going to stick with you guys. I'm going to go live. Wherever I go, I'm going live. The gym was the only place that I went. That was the only place I went because there's nothing. So you look at now what's left. What's left for the Eagles? What can they do? You've got, I think Zach Pascal at wide receiver might be who we end up having to get because he was a Colt with Nick Sirianni. Odell Beckham Jr. is out there. He's not coming to Philly. And I think because of his ACL, he's going to be out for a while anyway. We need linebackers. Bobby Wagner's still out there. Again, I would love to have a Bobby Wagner, but I just can't see it. We need safeties. Everybody wants the Honey Badger. I don't particularly think that he's the answer there. I think he might be kind of washed, and I'm sure I'll probably get a bunch of hate comments about that. But I do. Same with Patrick Peterson. Patrick Peterson said something on a talk show about I think Philly would be a good fit. And then, of course, Darius Slay and Hassan Reddick go on the internet, they go on Twitter, and they try to recruit him to Philly. Again, another guy who's better than the safeties we have. And no offense to Rodney McLeod, but I just don't think he's going to be back. And it's just older guys. Like I really wanted to see them go out and get some of this somewhat younger free agent talent. I just think that they've absolutely dropped the ball with this, man. And again, the draft could come and how he could actually hit on a wide receiver for once, and I could look stupid. I could look absolutely stupid with that. But I don't think it's going to happen. I just don't. I just don't have any where they're picking. Where the Eagles are picking, unless he moves all the way up or does something crazy, where they're picking, he does not have a lot of success there, man. I'm looking at Jalen Reagor. I just can't. I can't deal with another draft of him messing up with the wide receiver position. I just can't. There are D tackles out there, a shitload of them. Kind of a can't miss. Maybe he'll get there. I don't know. But whatever. It's going to definitely be one of those frustrating things for us. I can feel it coming already. I'm going to try to go back to the link for the draft party. Last year was insane because there was a friggin' hurricane that went through the link that day, but it was exciting because of everything that they had going on. But it's definitely going to be something to think about. And I hope Phillies are doing work, man. The Phillies are doing some work right now. They got Schwarber and Castellanos to go with Bryce Harper and JT Realmuto. They're making some news in the free agent market. The Sixers. Looks like they might be able to actually get out of the first round of the playoffs this year. And I don't count the Flyers, but the Eagles, they've got to do something, man. This is this Philly is a football town, and it feels like it's not, and that sucks. But that's as far as the NFL, as far as the Philadelphia Eagles are concerned. The bad guy Scott Hall, big again tribute to him. I don't have much. I don't have much left for you guys tonight. I always like to throw a little mental health in there. And talk about mental health issues, or if anything really bugged me this week. And I don't know. It's crazy. I talk about. I showed you the picture. I'll pull it back up for those that might not have seen it. It's all over my Facebook. The picture of me. There's me yesterday, bloody and well. Gotta love when you get a text like that during a live stream. I can't even. I need a minute. Okay. All right. Yes. Back to the picture. It was almost therapeutic. The street fight was absolutely brutal. And it wasn't that I liked the pain, but getting that. Getting hit with that barbed wire baseball bat and being busted open and really having to fight, kind of released something. I can't read this right now. I'm gonna have to read it again. I'm completely distracted with that. But yeah, it's just because it was a rough week. It really was a rough week. Last week, my schedule was a little different for work. My body was trying to get back into the groove of things. I'm at the point right now physically where I feel physically great, but trying to get to some of the fitness goals I want to complete is really hard. It's really getting tough for me. So when I'm in that mindset, everything else, my senses are almost heightened, and maybe things that aren't the way they are, I feel like they are, and I poke the bear a little bit for no reason, and maybe I've done that a little bit this week as well. Just because it's tough, man. When you work hard, it's like, and a lot of this is rambling at this point, but it's almost like pushing a rock, a big ass rock in your way. You're using every bit of might you have to push this rock out of the way, and it's just not moving. You're doing everything the right way. It's just not moving. And every little thing you try, it's just not moving. So you're going to get frustrated, man. Somebody comes and tries to tell you how to do it. You're probably going to yell at them because, hey, I already tried that. But I guess it's just finding another way to get that thing out the way without completely destroying it. That's against the rules too. But that's just kind of the week that I've had, man. I got a chance to ride with, my best friend, Zach O'Connor, Sopran Bros, to be coming back. It is coming back here probably next week. And again, that was therapeutic too. Just going on one of those road trips, man, and a wrestling road trip. There's nothing like it for those workers out there. They know what I mean. There's just, I do a lot of traveling by myself, and when you can travel with not just a friend, not just your best friend, but somebody that's experienced the same things that you've experienced, it's like no other, man. It's like no other, and it was great. It was great getting back in there. I saw some friends I haven't seen in a while. That was awesome. And again, like they're working with wrestling, Breaker Morant, who I've got such a long storied history and rivalry with, really brought me back. And again, it was good to have those feelings. As a wrestler, there is nothing, look, I've said this before, and people roll their eyes, they call bullshit on it, but I've never done a drug in my life. I've never touched a drug in my life. I've never even smoked a cigarette. And I don't drink anymore. So my high, my vice is breaking that curtain, man. And anybody who has done this will tell you, there is nothing like breaking that curtain, that feeling that you get, man, when you get to control the emotions of the people in the crowd. There's just absolutely nothing like it, whether they're booing, whether they're cheering, as long as they're giving you something, there's nothing like it. And just like the feeling I got last night was just awesome. As the blood poured down my face, it was just great. And okay, guys, the blood pouring down my face, it's almost how I feel every Sunday watching the Eagles play sometimes. Oh man, and what is it with 12-year-old girls? I don't mean this sounded weird. Okay, I have a 12-year-old daughter, and I had to take her shopping today. And what is it like? I would almost rather get hit with the bat again 30 times. I can't. What is it? I just trying to, and I guess her taste is so expensive, and I've never been a guy to really spoil my children. I mean, they get what they need, but I've never been a guy to really just go all out. I'm not spending $40 on a shirt. I'm just not going to do it. It's not something I'm going to do. And her taste is there. It's so expensive, and then she's explaining to me different styles, and I'm pretty sure that I'm a stylish guy. I think I'm one of the most. Look at this. I think I'm the most stylish guy on the independent wrestling scene. You see me come to shows, you see the suits I wear. And she's questioning my style, and it really making me just being like, what is going on? Like, what is that? Like, why? And everybody's saying that's going to get worse, man. It is going to get worse. Wait till she starts liking boys. What? No. Not my little girl. Not going to happen. No way. Let's this sip of water is going to be for that little girl that only liked Barbies. Now that's depressing. But what's not depressing is the E&M podcast, guys. Look, I'm rambling now. When I start bringing up the kids, that's when I'm rambling, and it's time to eat. Maybe watch a movie, and then go to sleep, get some sleep, and get ready for the day tomorrow. Busy day of workouts and life. And therapy at 9:00 in the morning. I got to keep reminding myself of that. I almost forgot. And Jenna would have my balls. And a late fee as well. With that being said, guys, again, thank you guys for taking the trip down memory lane with me, talking about the bad guy, Scott Hall, Razor Ramon, trendsetter in this business, and a guy that would be missed, man. And just going through his matches and the memories of him really makes me miss my childhood. So, and and I'm getting distracted here. But yeah, it made me miss my childhood, man. Miss my childhood. Nothing like a good Razor Ramon versus Shawn Michaels match. So, with that being said, as I finish up here with this live stream, I'm the Heart Killer, Chris Wilde. This is the ENN podcast. And I'll talk to you guys later. Stay safe. Stay healthy. Go Birds. And I'll see you later. That just happened.
The following announcement has been paid for by
The ENN podcast.
He has a good energy, you guys.
Can you feel
Sports.
excitement?
And also,
Wearing the merchandise, wearing the hats.
Is what I'm seeing for real?
Chris Wilde here live from Lincoln Financial. Yeah, go back.
I can't wait till this video's over so I can say his name anymore.
Music.
Wow.
Again, and I hate to do this again, but these are goofy.
What the hell? What is this? Whoa! What the hell?
And more.
What's his next book gonna be called?
Got you, sucker!